Hi, good evening, and welcome to IberoDocs 8th edition, Ibero-American Documentary Film Festival of Scotland. My name is Mon Rivas. I'm one of the programmers of the festival. I'm a white man, middle-aged, with short, dark hair. I'm wearing a black t-shirt, and I have a white background with film posters of one of my favorite films, Abyss Travesti. Here with me on the screen is Chloe, who is our BSL interpreter. This chat will be in Spanish, as it is the mother language of most of the participants. If you would like to listen to this conversation in English, please activate the interpreting function that can be accessed via the glove symbol at the bottom of your screen, or if you're using a mobile phone with a left swipe. Bien, pues.
All right, so let's change the language to Spanish. I'm really happy to be here this evening for the Q&A of this marvelous film, which can be seen in IberoDocs Festival. You can watch it in United Kingdom, Ireland, and Latin America. With us today, we have two guests, the protagonist and writer Juan Thomas Laurel, who is the most famous writer in Guinea Equatorial. He's a referee, and his work has been studied around the world. Hi, Juan Thomas, how are you? Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Would you like to describe yourself for our audience? Yes, I'm a male, a black man with afro hair. I have a little beard and some mustache. I have a black t-shirt and a white blazer. And behind me, there is some shelf with plenty of books, which are mostly red colored. Thank you very much. And with us today, we also have Benita Sampedro Vizcaya, who is a teacher in Hofstra University of Spanish Colonial Studies, and she will help us today. Hi, Benita, how are you today? I'm very good, thank you, and thank you to the organizers of the Festival IberoDocs for selecting this documentary for the program, and for organizing this Q&A, and for inviting Juan Thomas, Ávila, Laurel, and me to take part in the discussion. I'm wearing glasses, I have short hair, I'm wearing a dark blue t-shirt, and my background is a picture of a part of the campus of the university in Hofstra, where I work. So as I was saying, I let you speak to each other, and I'll see you when this is over. See you. Thank you. Well, first I wanted to say a few words about the work of Juan Thomas. He's one of the most well-known writers in Equatorial Guinea, and he's one of the most translated ones. He has a wide work with plenty of books, and I think he is working on more than 20 manuscripts that are waiting for being published. He has a wide variety of topics. He's been published since 1994. It was a book about poems, and he's been writing theater plays, poems, essays, and I think he deals with many fields. The last 2 years, he has published 3 novels. I will show you the books. One of them is a history book. Cuando Guinea se iba por mar. The other one is a fiction book, maybe a futuristic book. And the last one, it's written in red, although the novel is in Spanish, which is called Red Burdel. Today, we will be speaking about the documentary, The Writer from a Country Without Bookstores, which deals with many technicisms and which need to be talked about. And the documentary has a very difficult process for recording. It took over a few years to record it, and he visited the two sites where he lived, Malabo, the capital of Guinea, and Barcelona. And he lived part of the year in this city in Guinea. The documentary is called The Writer from a Country Without Bookstores. And the first question I wanted to ask Juan Thomas is to explain a little bit on why this title. Literally, this doesn't mean that there's no bookstores. There are also some good libraries. But why this title? What do you intend with it? Hi, I'm Juan Thomas, and I will answer the question. The title, partly it's a reality, and in part is a metaphor that the director of the film used. When there's no bookstores, there are other things that take its place. So when there's no bookstores, there's no interest in culture and anything that has to do with books. So something that defines Guinea is being uninterested. So when there's no culture, there's a lack of liberty, and that's what we wanted to highlight with this title. And when we were shooting this documentary, the bookstore that we knew, Benita and I, was closed, and it had been closed for more than 1 year. So at that time in Malabo, there was no bookstore. So that was a coincidence that the title, in fact, referred to a capital of a country which did not have a bookstore at the time that the film was being shot. I have 2 more questions I wanted to ask you, and then we will move on to the questions of our audience. The other question is that the theme of this cinema festival is the concept of art as a need. So based on this, what relation do you think, what is the influence this art has over Guinea in art, in artists, etc.? As I will answer the question, well, you know, art is the key that brings the human beings to immortality, we could say. To show you an example, for instance, art makes miracles, and maybe you think I'm exaggerating, but imagine that you were seeing someone in front of a wall, just staring at it. And then people pass by and would wonder why this person is looking at it. But if the wall was painted, everyone would understand why this person is staring at a wall. So that person can go over this wall without anyone wondering. You know, that's how art makes miracles. I think the usefulness of art is its capacity to bring humans to immortality. And probably you know that most of the churches are full of art. They realize that art is key to immortality, and they put it all the way. And what we thought was the search for God is that people realized that without art we could go nowhere. Art is the capacity we have to look at a mirror and know who we are. Imagine what the human being does to pay crazy amounts of money to buy a work of art, a piece of art. And we wouldn't know what to say when we wonder how much it is. Why does it cost so much? It's the only way, this art, for the human being to know who they are. Okay, and a third question I wanted to ask you, and which is related to the previous question in some way, is that there are many interesting and intense moments during the documentary, but there were some that caught my attention, particularly two at the end of the documentary. One when you were in Malabo, in your house with other 3 colleagues, friends, writers, artists. One of them was writer and also theater playwright. And the other one was Trifonia, who is also a writer and professor and activist for the rights of the LGTB people. And then Negro Bay, who is a musician, who is very well known and respected in Equatorial Guinea by youth and everyone in general, and outside Guinea even. So the conversation speaks about the role of the artist and the art in Guinea. And when the documentary finishes, we have as the last song a very famous song of Negro Bay in the streets of Malabo, hiding almost, and the song is letter to Mr. President, una carta al señor presidente. So I was wondering on the paper of censorship, what's the role censorship plays when producing pieces of art? What are the obstacles you find, you or any of your colleagues? Yes, I'm Juan Thomas and I'm answering the question Benita asked me. So, as I said, art is the key to immortality, to eternity. And when we live in a context of repression, we see how power sees the possibility of art as a way for people to know who they are. So that's why they remove it from access. So when man realize who they are, they will be conscious about the situation they are living in, and they will try to arrange this situation. That's why in any regime like this, there's always the fight against art, because they know that art liberates, frees man. They realize who they are. And in the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, since the dictatorship was installed, we are fighting against repression and censorship. And everything which is done with liberty, because art at the end it's related to liberty. So everything in the area of liberty calls the attention of those in power. So everything which is not politician, finally it's wrong. So we live in the censorship and to everything that has to do with expressing a liberty. And in this letter to the president song, we see how the singer is in the streets and he is so interested in knowing what's happening, who is looking at him, because he knows that at any moment the power could have intervened, the authorities, and would have stopped him from this activity. So everything we've been doing in Guinea has been under the scrutiny of the power. So any person with authority could have stopped the shooting of this documentary. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. We have plenty of questions in the chat. So I wanted to ask just one of those because there's only 4 minutes left in this Q&A. So after 1 year of the documentary release, where do you feel it has had more impact, in Spain or in Guinea? This film has been barely watched in Guinea. We have not officially watched it, but you know, in Guinea, the impact is what you can read on the press. And of course, it has appeared in the Spanish press about the premiere and other broadcasting. And I have a contact with a person that said that it had had a big impact. So power in Guinea, it's paying attention to what is being produced outside the borders of Guinea. So in case we have time for a last question, I'm going to lead it from the chat. How did the opportunity of shooting this documentary came up? Yes, that's a good question. I'm Juan Thomas and I'm answering the question. So since I'm a person who was thought to be exiliated here in Spain, but the truth is it's not like that. I was just out of Guinea. And what happened is that when directors or the producers needed a person who could come in the country, someone where they could trust to go to the country, they knew I would be a good opportunity because I was already going once a year to Guinea. So they saw the opportunity in me because even if I was confronting the regime, I have courage and I usually go there. So that's why I could go with them to do this project. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt this very interesting conversation. I wish we had more time to keep talking, but unfortunately we have to close this event. I would like to thank both of you, Juan Thomas and Benita, for taking part today live and for this film with such a wonderful message. We wanted to connect different countries from Scotland to New York to Spain. Where is Juan Thomas? And we hope that this movie keeps traveling around the world and reaches as many people as possible. Our festival, you will be able to see the movie for 48 hours more until Sunday at 6, and this Q&A will be available in the social network, in YouTube, and in our webpage. So thank you again. Really, Juan Thomas, Benita, thank you very much for taking part. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for calling. Thanks. See you.